Millions of men around the world are quietly asking themselves the same question. Why does she never seem satisfied? You try so hard. You listen to her. You help around the house. You work hard. You try to be a good man. And yet, somehow, there's always something else. Something you didn't do, or something you did wrong. Before you get frustrated and start thinking it's all your fault, or that she's just impossible to please, you need to understand something crucial. This isn't about you being a bad partner, and it's not about her being deliberately difficult. It's about a deep, primal part of human nature. And surprisingly, the legendary samurai Miyamoto Musashi understood this nearly 400 years ago. Let's travel back to 1630s Japan. Musashi, the undefeated swordsman, was staying at the home of a wealthy merchant. This merchant was, by all accounts, a good man. He was hardworking, successful, and kind to his wife. Every evening, he would ask her the same questions. Are you happy, my love? Is there anything more I can do for you? And almost every evening, she would mention something. The tea was cold, the servants were slow, the garden wasn't perfect, and every time, the merchant would rush to fix it. He'd solve the problem, hoping that this time she would finally be content. But the next week, a new complaint would surface. This cycle continued, leaving the merchant exhausted and confused. One day, he confided in Musashi. Master Musashi, he asked, why can I never make her happy? What am I doing wrong? Musashi looked at him and said something that changed the merchant's perspective forever. You're asking the wrong question. She doesn't want you to make her happy. She wants to know if you are still the strong man she chose to follow, even when she's testing your resolve. The merchant was stunned. Testing me? He asked. Musashi explained. A woman's dissatisfaction isn't always about the problem she's pointing out. It's an unconscious test to see if you are still the strong leader, the steady rock she needs you to be. So what did Musashi truly understand? He saw that a woman's expressions of dissatisfaction are not meant to hurt you. They are a deeply ingrained, instinctual need to verify that you are still a strong, reliable partner. Throughout all of human history, a woman's survival and the survival of her children depended heavily on choosing a partner who was not just physically strong, but mentally and emotionally resilient. A man who could stay calm when faced with danger or uncertainty. A man who had his own direction and purpose in life and wouldn't be easily shaken by every little problem or complaint. So, unconsciously, women test this strength. It's a natural stress test for the relationship. When she says, "You never listen to me," what she might really be asking is, "Can you handle my emotions without getting defensive or panicking?" When she says, "I'm not happy," she's checking, do you crumble under this pressure, or do you remain solid and reassuring? This isn't some kind of manipulative game. It's instinct. It's as fundamental as a man's desire for respect. You want to feel respected for your efforts and your character. She wants to feel secure. And that feeling of security comes from knowing that her man is strong enough to handle not just the world outside, but her emotional world inside without falling apart. She needs to know the captain of the ship is steady at the helm, especially when the waters get a little choppy. This is where so many modern men go wrong. Let's talk about the first major mistake, trying to fix every single complaint literally. When she says something like, "You never help out around here," the typical male response is to jump into defense mode or problem-solving mode. You might say, "What are you talking about? I took out the trash yesterday." Or you might immediately promise, Okay, I'll do more, I promise." But Musashi's wisdom teaches us she's not always looking for a quick fix. She's observing your reaction. Does he get angry? Does he get flustered? A much better response is to stay calm, truly listen to her, and say something like, "I hear that you're feeling overwhelmed. Let's figure this out together." You acknowledge her feelings without letting her complaint destabilize you. The second big mistake is constantly seeking her approval. So many men ask questions like, "Are you happy with me?" Or, "Did I do a good job?" While this comes from a good place, what it actually communicates is, "I need you to tell me that I'm good enough. My sense of self-worth depends on your validation." When you constantly need her to validate you, it makes her feel unsafe. It's like the pilot asking the passengers if he's flying the plane correctly. It's unsettling. A better approach is to do good things because it's the right thing to do, because it aligns with your values as a good man, not simply to earn a pat on the head. Your confidence should come from within. The third mistake is changing yourself completely just to please her. She says you work too much, so you abandon your career goals. She says you're too quiet, so you force yourself to be an extrovert. But you have to remember, she fell in love with who you are. When you completely change your core identity to avoid her displeasure, you might solve the immediate problem, but you lose her respect in the process. She's no longer with the man she chose. She's with a watered-down version of him. The key is to be open to feedback and improve where you genuinely need to, but never lose your core self, your values, and your mission. So what does she actually want? Musashi's insight gives us the answer. She wants to know that you are unmovable. Now, unmovable doesn't mean cold, distant, or stubborn. Think of a great, strong tree. It has deep roots, which are your core values and principles. It has a thick, strong trunk, which is your ability to stay calm and centered, even in a storm. And it has flexible branches, which show your ability to be kind, listen, and adapt. The tree bends in the wind, but it never, ever gets uprooted. You don't fall over with every gust of wind, every complaint, every test. Let's look at some practical examples. Scenario 1. She's upset about something small, like you being a few minutes late. The weak reaction is to panic, get stressed yourself, and over-apologize, making the situation even more tense. The strong reaction is to stay calm, listen to her frustration, sincerely apologize for being late, and offer comfort. You validate her feelings without absorbing her stress. Scenario 2. She says, "You never do anything romantic anymore." The weak reaction is to immediately go online and buy flowers out of fear or obligation. The strong reaction is to listen, and then, at a time of your choosing, show her love in your own authentic way. You lead the romance. You aren't scared into it. Scenario 3, the big one. Maybe we should take a break. The weak reaction is to panic, beg, and promise to change everything about yourself. The strong, unmovable reaction is to stay calm. Look her in the eye and say, "I don't want that, but I hear that you're hurting. Let's talk about what's really bothering you." Notice the pattern? In every case, the strong response is to stay calm, and stay true to yourself while still being compassionate. Here's the simple truth at the heart of all this. Women don't want a man who agrees with everything they say. They want a man who stands for something. They don't want a partner who panics at the first sign of trouble. They want a partner who remains a source of calm and strength. And they don't want to be your entire world, your only source of happiness. They want to be an important part of a world that you are building, a man who has his own purpose and mission. When you have your own goals, your own values, and your own internal compass, her dissatisfaction doesn't destroy you. You can listen, you can care, you can adjust where it's needed, but you don't lose yourself. And ironically, that is when she feels the most secure, the most attracted, and the most at peace with you. It's interesting to note that Miyamoto Musashi never married, but historical accounts say that women respected him deeply. Why? Because he was a complete man on his own. His identity wasn't dependent on anyone else's approval. Your partner's dissatisfaction isn't always a report card on your performance. Sometimes it's an unconscious radar checking if her strong man is still in there. So the next time you face a complaint, don't rush to fix everything or change who you are. Instead, remember the Musashi way. Stay calm, stay consistent, keep your purpose, Be kind, but be unmovable. Thank you for watching.